Hi, this is called The Fountain. It's from my short poetry collection, Water, which was published about a year and a half ago. The Fountain was inspired by one of my favorite poems, Ozymandias, which was written by Percy Shelley in the early 19th century. I was inspired by the theme of the transience of human life and the impermanence of all things, the way that we as human beings eventually, with our pride, our accomplishments, our monuments, everything about us is temporary, and the only thing truly immortal in the world is nature. Everything returns to nature. We see this with abandoned architecture and old cities, ruins, and some stuff we know a little bit about, and some stuff we don't know that much about, but we do know that something was there. Where I depart from Percy Shelley is I am not using an actual historical moment, and I am not referencing or alluding to an actual historical figure to make this point. I am merely writing about a fountain that I dreamed up to talk about this idea, whereas Shelley was definitely using a historical moment and a historical figure to make this point and also to critique empire. Ozymandias is the Greek name for Ramses, who is the pharaoh that we associate with Moses. Ancient Egypt continues to mesmerize us today, but at that time, Ozymandias was published in 1818, I think, which was the same time that the bust of Ramses, the bust statue of Ramses, arrived in London, and just a couple years before the discovery of King Tut's tomb. At that time, European archaeologists and anthropologists were absolutely looting Egypt and bringing the artifacts home to put on display. So Shelley he was critiquing empire and using actual history to do so. I'm not doing all of that. I'm just talking about the way that nothing is permanent and everything fades. So this is The Fountain. I came upon a fountain in a dark and shady forest, a perfect circle made of marble and hand-carved stone. On the outer ring looped angels calming sea monsters, and other figures divine and human from a mythology unknown. The inner ring on upper pedestal was charmed with prancing deer. At their feet was molded flora found about the forest floor. The highest tier held a giant vase wreathed in vines, and from inside the pot is where water once gathered and outpoured. But on that day, no water flowed from that great fountain. The stone was dry, and grass and moss half covered it in green. And all around were signs of movement lost to time long ago, sunken foundations barely there, a broken heritage unseen. I had come years too late to see the work as intended, with water making